Did you know you can grow an endless supply of green onions? Stick around to see how. What's going on, guys? This is Antoine Robinson and I'm back with another video. Today we're talking about green onions. I picked up this thing of green onions that I've been kind of using on and off waiting to do this video. But this is one of those hacks that I learned years ago about how you can go to the store, you can buy some green onions, and guess what? You can grow these on forever. I normally start green onions about this time, September, October time frame. And the great thing about it is I can buy one little bushel of green onions, and these cost about $1 for 5 green onions at the store. And I can plant these in the garden and I can grow green onions all year. For me, they survive the winter and the frost and everything else. And just in my garden, I have all these green onions that are just spread throughout my garden, and I really don't have to do anything. The only reason I'm planting green onions now is because the green onions I've had, they've been in the garden for about a couple years, and they're starting to bulb and things like that. And so it's time for me to pull some of those out and refresh the garden, and out with the old, in with some of the new stuff for the fall. So that's what I'm doing right now. I was hoping to do this video in the garden, but the rain's not cooperating, which is okay. We can just do this inside, and I'll show you what these green onions look like in a later video. But growing green onions is super super simple. Growing green onions is super simple. You can either do it by seed or you can do it by buying some green onions from the store. I do it both ways. I'll get some bunching onion seeds and I'll plant these throughout my garden. I just sprinkle them in. I do chives, and I'll also do bunching onions, and I just sprinkle them around the edges of my garden so that way I have them growing in. I never grow these in the spring. They just don't survive in the spring because it gets so hot here. And so if I do it, I do it by transplant. If I do anything during the spring, the seedlings with it just get so hot here, they just don't survive. And so I normally do this during the fall where the weather's a little bit more manageable. And so you can sprinkle these around your garden and they'll do well during the fall, and they'll survive the frost and they'll keep going on to next year. Or you can do them by transplant by getting some already grown plants, and all you want to do is you just take the plant, you take the green onion and you cut it just about couple inches. You'll see on the green onion that there are normally some roots that are already there, and so all you're doing is getting these roots to continue to grow. And so you're just going to cut them kind of where the white part is, so that way you're leaving just a little bit of the green onion left to go. And so you can continue to eat the rest of this. And so I'm going to continue. I spent $1 for these, and so I'm going to continue to eat the rest of these. But the one that I cut, I'm just going to take it and put it in some water. And it doesn't take a whole lot of time. You just want to make sure that they don't get completely submerged in water. You really only want the roots to be submerged in water. And then what you're going to get is you're going to get something like this, where the roots are already starting to grow. And then you can see on this one how the green is already starting to pop out. Same thing on this one. The roots are already starting to grow, and you see the greens are already starting to grow. You really don't even need to put these in soil. You could just grow these just fine, just in water. The only downside about just keeping them in water is that the water, there's just no nutrients in the water. And so if you want to keep these going and get them established, it's necessary to go ahead and put them in water. You may be able to get one more cut off of these by keeping them just in water, but there's just not going to be enough energy in the plant itself for it to either taste good and to continue to grow. And so you may get one, but then after that, it's done. What I like to do is, after I know it's starting to root and it looks like it's getting established, I just take one of these 3-inch pots. You can definitely just put this in the ground, but I definitely want to make sure that they are getting established and they're on their way. So I just take these, put a little 3-inch pot, I plant them in these, and I'll keep them under the grow lights until they get super established and the green tops are much bigger. And you're just kind of, once it starts growing, you can start tugging on it, and you'll know if you can tug on it and it doesn't go anywhere, that it's pretty rooted in there. And that's all I do. I'll just take these two that I've already done. These are just in a little bit of soil, garden soil that I have, and so You just plant these down in there and you put them in the grow lights and they'll do just fine. Green onions don't need a whole lot, and so these are not fussy plants. And so you can put them in whatever soil and they're gonna do just fine. Make sure you just give them some even watering. That's how the greens are gonna grow on these. They need a little bit of nitrogen, they need some even soil, don't need a whole lot of sunlight. These grow throughout the winter, so deep frost, I don't cover them or anything. They just do just fine. I know other people who grow these in the snow and they just keep on plugging. But you can put these in the ground and they will just do fine. They'll survive, and you can eat on green onions all year. I just go out to my garden, I clip them off and bring them into the house, and I use them, and they just continue to regrow. And the great thing about it is I really don't need to do the seeds because I just let them self-seed. Every couple years, they will grow flower heads and they will seed, and those seeds will drop into the garden, and then come spring, they'll grow their own. But because of the heat that it is, they don't always survive. And so I want to make sure that I just keep putting new green onions into my garden every couple of years to make sure, because I do use a lot of these, to make sure I have a consistent supply of green onions. And so if you've never tried this, go to the store, get you some green onions, give it a try. Hey, this is fascinating for me as an adult. This is really exciting for kids because kids love to see how some of this works. If you have kids, grab your kids and show them how this works and watch them how this stuff regrows. It'll be an exciting thing for them, but it's one way if you are trying to get into gardening and you're striking out with growing these green onions. Hey, give it a try. It's super simple, it's easy to do, and then after a couple seasons they'll just reseed and keep growing, and you'll never have to go buy green onions again unless you're like me and you just want to. And so that's it, guys. Give it a try. Let me know if it works for you. Hey, even if you think this is a bad idea, hey, put it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you if there's a better way of doing this. This is just how I do it. But hey, in gardening, you're always learning new things. And so I'm excited to hear what you guys are doing and if there's a better way of getting some of this done. All right, guys, thank you. We'll see you on the next video.